Howdy folks, Mighty Jingles here, welcome back once again to my World of Tanks replays, and as should be obvious to anybody watching the video, today we're in the Jagdpanther. It's a German tier 7 tank destroyer. Let's just see what its competitors are. I'm afraid I'm going to have to skip the French line because I don't know a thing about the French tank destroyers. But the Americans at tier 7 get the T-25AT and the T-25/2, and the Russians get the SU-152. Well, the SU-152 is basically a platform for the 152mm derp gun, which is fun, but inconsistent. It has a whopping 700 maximum damage, but you're not going to do that damage unless you hit something that has thin armour, like artillery, other tank destroyers, some of the mediums, most of the mediums, the French heavies. If you hit anything with this gun and an HE shell that has any kind of armour on it, you're going to be lucky to do 250 to 300 damage. And you have a 15-second reload, so yeah, good luck with that. I mean, the SU-152 isn't a terrible tank destroyer. It's just completely different from playing the German or the Americans. Speaking of the Americans, well, I've lamented the gun selection on the T-25/2 in the past. It's that 90mm gun. It's great on the Hellcat, it's not so good on this thing. The T-25AT, it does get the 105mm gun. Essentially it's the same gun as on the T-29 heavy tank. Not a bad gun, not a bad little tank destroyer. But we're looking at the Jagdpanther, and one thing that it is not short of is a selection of good guns. Now it starts off with the 75mm Stuck 42L70 gun from the Stug 3, which isn't a bad gun. But nobody ever plays this thing in completely stock configuration, because in order to get to the Jagdpanther you had to grind your way through the horrific Jagdpanzer IV, and if you have any kind of sense whatsoever, or if you drive any of the German tier 6 mediums, you'll already have this gun unlocked. The 88mm L56. So when you get to the Jagdpanther, first thing everybody does is stick that thing on it. This is an okay gun. Penetration's awful. It's not bad as a tier 6 medium tank gun. It is in no way good enough to be a tier 7 tank destroyer gun. So the first few games you play on this thing are going to be bad news until you get this little beauty. Now, I feel a bit cheated here, because here's the gun on the Jagdpanther, and I thought, well, I already have the Tiger and the Tiger II, so with that gun researched on the Tiger and the Tiger II, surely I will have it on the Jagdpanther. Well, yes and no. There's the Tiger II's gun. It's the 88mm KWK 43L71. There's the Jagdpanther's gun, the 88mm PAK 43L71. What's the difference? Well, pretty much they're the same gun. Exactly the same penetration, exactly the same damage. It's just slightly better in all other respects. So it's got a better rate of fire. It's more accurate. It's got a better aiming time, and it weighs the same. So I didn't feel too bad, or you shouldn't feel too bad. And you think, well, I've already got the long 88mm gun researched on the Tiger. It's a different gun. Oh, what are they doing? Well, yeah, okay, you do have to grind it out again. Effectively, it's the same gun on the Jagdpanther, but you are rewarded with a gun that is better on the Jagdpanther than it is on the Tiger and the Tiger II. And it is a very, very, very good gun. But the gun selection doesn't end there. There's the top gun on the Jagdpanther, the PAK 45L52, a 105mm gun. Now, on paper, let's just compare them. It's better in almost every respect. The rate of fire isn't as good. Well, you'd expect that. It's a higher caliber gun. The penetration isn't as good, surprisingly. Does a lot more damage. I mean, I say the penetration isn't as good. It's 200 versus 203. It's effectively the same. It does do a lot more damage. It's slightly less accurate, but it has a much faster aiming time. However, in practice, I tend to find, despite that .34 accuracy that it allegedly has, it just misses. It just misses shots it has no business missing. I can't explain it, and for that reason, and well, here's another reason, it's 1,000 shells per shot, whereas with the long 88 the ammo is, well, I don't have the gun amount to show you, and I'm not spending 112,000 credits for the purposes of this video, but it's significantly cheaper to fire that long 88, and because it is more accurate, and it does tend to hit what you shoot at a lot more than the 105 does. A lot of people stick with that 88mm gun, which isn't a bad choice. Moving on from the gun, this thing's quick, 46 kilometers per hour speed limit. It rotates acceptably fast, 29 degrees per second. Armour, well, yeah, doesn't really have any armour. 80mm of armour at the front, but look at the sloping. You do get some bounces on the front of this thing, especially if it's angled. Unfortunately, the gun traverse isn't great, so it's very difficult to angle it while you're shooting at a target. But definitely when you're waiting to reload, you should be angling your hull if you're coming under fire. And with 1.7 second aim time, you really don't have any reason to be continuing to point that gun at the target if you take an incoming fire between shots. So, well, that's about it. Equipment, 350 meter view range. I like to be able to see what's coming and shoot at it before they get a shot at me, so I mount binoculars. Camo net, definitely want a camo net on this thing. You're a stealthy tank destroyer. Stealth is your friend. Definitely fit a camo net, and get the aim into the reload time of that big old 105mm gun down, medium caliber tank and rammer. And my crew skills, I've just stuck with camouflage all the way. I might think about changing that once it hits 100%, but if this thing gets seen, 80mm of armour, 50 at the sides, 40 at the rear, it's seriously fragile. And you only have 850 hit points at tier 7. That's, yeah, you cannot afford to take hits in this thing. So, camo. It works for me. Anyway, enough jibber jabber. Let's take it out for a spin. So, the Jagdpanther. Here we are. I'm platooned up with two guys from my clan, the Naughty and the Rixes. You may remember them from previous videos. And we're all in our tier 7 tank destroyers of choice. The Rixes is grinding towards the ISU 152, so we all loaded up a tier 7 tank destroyer. They're in SU 152s, I'm in the Jagdpanther. I have actually been playing the Jagdpanther a lot over the last week and a half or so. It had been sitting in my garage gathering dust for a long time until I decided I need a Jagdpanther video. Oh boy, this has been hard work. I can definitely remember the Jagdpanther being a lot better than it seems to be at the moment. Now, doubtless my perceptions have been coloured by the fact that when you do first get your hands on the Jagdpanther, you've had to play the Jagdpanzer IV for some time, and after that, anything is going to look good. But I can definitely remember it being a lot better than this. Well, not this, it's great in this game, but it's that 105mm gun. On paper it's got good accuracy, and it's not as accurate as the long 88. But it's a lot more penetration, does a lot more damage, and it still has good accuracy, but it just misses shots. Doesn't in this game, which is a first, but it just misses shots that it has no business missing. It's a very frustrating gun, and for that reason you find a lot of Jagdpanther drivers stick with the long 88, because it might not penetrate as much, it might not do as much damage, but at least it hits what you pointed at. It is actually a good gun. However, I have the 105. Now, it appears that in all the confusion over the encounter mode on Himmelsdorf, everybody's forgotten how to play regular old Himmelsdorf. So nobody comes down this road. except for one very unfortunate KV-3. I say unfortunate because he runs into 4 tank destroyers and a Panzer IV, and he really does not last long.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
And there's nobody else on that road. It's just us. He was it. So it's a wolf pack of tank destroyers. It's the first time I've ever seen this. Okay, we need to track that KV-1, stop them from getting away. And then wait for the SU-152s to miss. Because that's what they do. Finish them off. And now we are completely unopposed, rolling into the enemy base. There's actually quite a funny moment coming up now. They have 2 Jagdpanthers of their own on the other team, but we come across both of them pointing away from us. And this just beggars belief. This first one is actually quite funny. Come around the corner, there he is. Now, I'm wondering, keep an eye on the chat window, you'll see why he's just sitting there not moving. He's actually frantically trying to turn around, but he had his chat window open. He's just typing www.ddd into chat. Poor bastard. However, and this is just really, really poor gameplay and poor situational awareness, there's another Jagdpanther around the corner, and he is facing the wrong way. Guys, you have a mini-map for a reason. Thor tries to ram him, but I'm having none of that. Now, on that guy's mini-map, 4 tank destroyers just rolled into his base and killed the Jagdpanther behind him. And he spent that entire time facing the other way and didn't react until we rolled up behind him and came into visual range. And that just displays such a lack of situational awareness that just takes your breath away. Wargaming give you a mini-map for a reason. They show the locations of enemy tanks on it for a reason. If you are not going to pay attention to that mini-map, you have no reason to complain when 3 enemy tank destroyers come rolling up behind you and shoot you in the ass. Now Dan's just died, he stayed to cap the base. And an IS rolled in and finished him off. So now we must go and avenge him. So Thor and I go charging off. They're T-20s in our base, and he's been dealt with by other people, so they kill him. We're going to go and kill this IS. Thor gets one shot into him, and I'm yelling at him on TeamSpeak, get out of the way! Let's see which way he's going. And even with the 105mm gun on the Jagdpanther, you're not going to miss at this sort of range. There it is. 2 hits from an IS, from an SU-152, and 2 hits from a Jagdpanther, and an IS is toast. So that was actually, it's the best Jagdpanther game I've had in about 6 months. 1400 XP, 41,000 credits, good game. And did I get... I didn't even, look at that, 11 shots fired, 11 at the target. I didn't even get sniper. I've been robbed. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that one. I certainly enjoyed it. The first Jagdpanther game I've enjoyed in a long time. But don't let that put you off. It is a good machine. It's just not as good as the Ferdinand, but it's way better than the Jagdpanzer IV. Seriously, the Jagdpanther is like Wargaming's way of saying sorry for the Jagdpanzer IV. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video as much as I really enjoyed playing that game, and I'll catch you next time.